Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Which class? Jallianwala Bagh tomorrow. Jallianwala Bagh tomorrow. Yes, Anjan, they did. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Bengal will not be reunited, it will be reorganized. In a way, it will be reorganized. Additional reading material not opening, I'll tell it. I'll tell it to the team. Today's agenda, we have to start with the life of Gandhi, then South African experience, and thereafter we have to discuss Champaran, Ahmedabad, Kheda, and Home Rule League. Why Delhi, Kolkata, Madras? There are cities our areas are selected by emperors. Kolkata was a matter of chance. Madras was always there because it was given by the Chandragiri Farman. Delhi was always a seat of power because the Delhi Sultanate became active there. Thereafter, Sikandar Lodi moved it, and then we come back to Delhi under Shah Jahan. Lucknow Pact is moderates extremists agreeing to come back and work within the INC. Not necessary. Roshan. Email me this about this, Ankita. I know this issue, but you email me, I'll get it sorted. I'll get you an update for sure. We wait one more minute and then we start. PPT plus NCRT plus Roshan the book. Yes, like this you can do that. Okay. So, as always, what we are going to do, what we are going to do is that we will cover Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, his life, and generally, sir, my geography class left. What solution? I don't know what you mean by that, Abhay. It would be left. It would be planned also in this cycle with you. After this, geography will come in evening, I think. Yes, there will be an option to do geography in evening. Yes. Okay. How many questions have to be written before mains for symbol? The more, the better. Okay. Now, when we talk about advent of Gandhi, yes, after this class, once this will end, you will get two options: ancient medieval art and culture or geography. So you can choose which you want to take. I think for you it would be geography in that sense. And the ancient medieval art and culture will come late after that. Now, we have to understand why was Gandhi in South Africa? Why is it important for his journey? When and why did he come back to India? And what are called the early interventions, which is Champaran, Kheda, Ahmedabad. Now, I'll give you a timeline. I'll give you a timeline here, and we have to cover everything which has been given in that timeline. As always, this is going to be our agenda for the week, and generally we have to cover this basic timeline which is there. Okay. Now, pay attention. We start? Everybody's comfortable. Everybody's here. Can we talk about Gandhi? Because a very important personality, multiple things to be known about him. We yesterday stopped at a very important juncture, which was related to the Lucknow Pact, moderates extremists coming together, political extremism and extremist activities, revolutionary activities is done. Now, our story starts again in on 2nd October 1869. Thereafter, in 1888, then in 1891, in 1893, and when we talk about 1893, from 1893 to 1896, from 1896 to 1906, from 1906 to 1915, 1916, 1917, and 1918. Each of these is very, very important. Ashish, I think class never held. You are in class right now. Okay. Now, Gandhi will be born 1888 is an important year because it is here where he leaves for London. Leaves for London to pursue law or legal studies. By 1891, he will complete his law degree, and by 1893, he will be in South Africa. Arrives in South Africa because one of an Indian merchant, Dada Abdullah, He was in South Africa. He will give employment to Gandhi as lawyer. 1896 to 1906 is called Gandhian moderate phase, and 1906 to 1915 is called his Satyagraha phase. And it is here that we have 4 acts which will change his method forever. One is called it is called RIPM, Rest in Peace Mahatma, Registration Act, Immigration Act. Then you have Poll Tax and Marriage Act. Thereafter, 1915, on 6th January 1915, which is called Pravasi Bharatiya Divas today, Gandhi will come back to India. 1916, he will travel across India. 1917 and 1918, we have Champaran, Kheda, Ahmedabad. His 3 first interventions. 9th, oh yes, 9th, not 6th, 9th, yes. Now this is basically what we have to cover. This is what we basically have to cover, which is Gandhi's birth to Gandhi coming back. As it is the first part, does not really matter to us. It is when he lands in South Africa where our story really starts. And this is the agenda for today. We have to understand the 2-3 words. What is the Satyagraha method? What do you mean by Gandhi moderate phase? And what is Champaran, Kheda and Ahmedabad? And in between this, in 1915, 16, 17, or basically in between 1913 and 15, Home Rule League will be active. We'll talk about them also in the end of the class, because Gandhi will undercut the Home Rule League very quickly. Now, this is basically the agenda. So if we all are comfortable, still people are joining in, we can start our story for Gandhi. Can we do that? Can we now start our story for Gandhi and discuss how he will become what he was before he reached India in 1915? Okay. Now, Gandhi, just to show you his picture first, because it is equally important. This is Gandhi, born in 1869, 2nd October, Porbandar in Gujarat. And this is the Gandhi which you will not recognize, because, yes, I got that email, Ankita, I'll get it sorted. This is the Gandhi which you will not basically recognize, because there's a suit boot ka Gandhi. Basically, this is the real Gandhi before he reached India in 1915. But Gandhi that way had a very interesting journey before he came to India. And why did he go to SA, didn't come to India? Everything will be answered. Listen to me. Listen to me. So everything, very good curiosity. Listen to me. Now, Gandhi, after being born in 1869, he was not from a very not a very low background. He is coming from a very wealthy family. His father remained the Diwan of the small princely state in which Kathiawar sector Porbandar is to belong. And he comes from a very good merchant community also. He comes from a very good merchant community. And coming from a merchant community, his community, the Gandhi. Diwan means, yes, minister in the small princely state there. Coming from that community, that merchant community from that Gujarat sector, that merchant community was always known to be very, very just and very adamant on things. Basically, you can't dictate things to them. They were very adamant and they were very diplomatic and, in a way, negotiative type of community they were, from which Gandhi comes from. So, as it is, his community from which he comes from is known to have been very good negotiators and have been very, very negotiative with the government itself. Don't take everything on face value. And in that context, when in 1869 he will be born, he'll be born to a good family. His mother, however, has a very important influence on him. So the Gandhi, till he reaches London, saw his mother quite a lot. Putli Bai saw his mother quite a lot, and she comes from the Vaishnavite community, which is the followers of Lord Vishnu. And the Vaishnavite community of Porbandhan, this sector, they are known to do two things very, very adamantly. And her mother was very, very adamant about these things. And the word is self-suffering. The word is self-suffering. And the means was fasting. Basically, fasting was seen as a way to cleanse oneself, to punish oneself, and self-suffering was seen as a way of washing off sins. Paap dhul jate hai if you, it washes away, the sins wash away if you self-suffer, and fasting is a very good or very important way of doing that. Now, Gandhi's mother is influenced by this type of self-suffering based Vaishnavite traditions. He's born into, yes, he is a Hindu, he's born into the Vaishnavite community, and his father comes from a very good background. In Rajkot, he will start his basic studies by the age of 5, 6. He'll be in Rajkot. By 1876, 75, he will basically travel to Rajkot from Porbandar. And now Gandhi will start to study basic things as schooling happens, but from a English educated school. Now, by the time 1888 comes, Gandhi, much like most of the people who were basically trying to become something better than what they wanted to, he wanted to go to London. And he's coming from a good background, so he can afford it. And his mother and his father were adamant that yes, he should go for law. Law used to be a very good study opportunity because, as it is, the British had opened a lot of courts. So to be a lawyer was a very good opportunity, a very good type of career opportunity that was. It was that engineering of that time that if you become a lawyer, you will more or less get employment very quickly. So in 1888, he will choose to go to London to pursue his studies. Now, one thing should be clear that between 1869 to 1888, he was in a small area and it was a princely state. So basically, he had never seen real colonialism in that way because princely states are autonomous within themselves. So real power and real power of the British and their face he had not seen in India itself. Now, he had this personal choice that he wants to do law. However, there's a problem. His community, his family wants, other than his father and mother, that he should go into the same service, he should become the diwan or at least get some form of employment within the princely state. But he said, no, I want to do law because I want to become a lawyer, and I will be a better diwan maybe if I become a lawyer. But when he chooses to go to London, the moment he chooses to go to London, his community says very simple, straightforward, that if you leave to London, if you go to London, we will not consider you as part of our community. Okay, we are a merchant community, but we don't go to London to study. We can study in India itself. So basic standard thing which happens in you would have seen it in India, you would have seen it yourself, that once somebody says that I want to go to Delhi to prepare, or I want to go to Mumbai or Bangalore or somewhere to prepare, they say why study does not happen here? You study from here. Standard thing. Family members, your parents will be supporting, but relatives will be saying that what is the other thing which will be taught in that area. Same way, his community believed that he did not need to go to London, and there's a lot of opposition which develops against him going to London itself. And they very simply say that if he boards the ship to London, one thing is clear, that when you come back, we will not accept you in our caste. We will not accept you in our varna. You will lose everything. We will not accept you as an individual, as part of our community. Now you can see that even before going, Gandhi knows that he should not come back. So his coming back was already contingent on the fact that in 1888 he had seen a lot and heard a lot from his own community saying that you should not go, or if you will go, we will remove you from our community, from our caste itself. Now Gandhi still goes to London, and in London he sees a new type of world. And between 1888 and 1891, he will be in London, where he will now start to get influenced by 2 to 3 important writers at this point of time. One is called Ruskin, the other one is called Tolstoy. He had already a very good imprint of his mother on him. But Tolstoy, Ruskin, the books which he's reading gives him new levels of understanding. We'll talk about it, understanding different, but I want to ask you one thing. Between 1888 and 1891, has Gandhi still seen the real face of colonialism when he is in London? He went from a princely state and he went to London. And in London, it's a white population. People are tolerant and people don't talk back to him. So for Gandhi till 1891, colonialism was a bird he had not seen. Kuch udti chidiya hai colonialism. He's not seen it. He's not seen the brutality of colonialism. He's not seen the discrimination of colonialism. He's not seen the way 1857 had happened. He's not seen how on every day-to-day basis the British beat Indians. He's not seen anything. So his notion of colonialism is a very distorted one. Is a very, very distorted one, because he will develop what is called as a false sense of equality, and he will also now start to believe in justice and the concept that the British are just, non-racial, and believe in development. This is basically a more dangerous view than the moderates he's developed, wherein he believes that if the British know everything, they are very good and just people, very, very good and just people. And in that sense, when he will be reading different personalities, there are 2 to 3 writers which will impact him quite a lot. We already know that his mother had taught him to self-suffer, fasting in that regard. Comes from a community which is already resistance, injustice they don't take. Now he will read Tolstoy. And in Tolstoy, he will believe or he will develop a new concept, or he will imbibe it, which is the kingdom of God is within you, and in which he will start to develop this concept of morality, truthfulness, simplicity. Though he's still the same suit, one Mahatma Gandhi with the suit, but the problem is that he's now developing new senses of morality, that truth is something which needs to be sought. Then further, he will read Ruskin. And under John Ruskin, Unto the Last is the name of the book, he will develop this concept that self-sufficient communities can be there, simple communities can be there, which is quite important that way. No, he's not a single child. He has a father. He lose his father at a very very young age. Then Emerson and Thoreau, he will believe and imbibe individualism, but the most important impact on his idea was Henry David Thoreau, who argued that resistance can be done through disobedience, which is, it's not that I have to go and slap that person every time. If I disobey, that is also resistance. Resistance means to resist or to rebel. So basically, if you see Mahatma Gandhi or Gandhi between 1869 and 1891, I can by guarantee say between 1888 him going here. The problem with Gandhi at this point of time is that he has not seen he has not seen a real colonialism. He has not seen real colonialism, and over and above that, over and above that, he believes that people are equal. The British are just. He has seen London's open and tolerant environment. He has further developed individualism, that a person is important. At the same point of time, he has also developed this idea of resistance through disobedience. And in a way, last but not the least, he has also developed a new concept of self-suffering, which he takes from his mother, but with the concept of simplicity and truth. Now, basically, Gandhi is like you when you started this course, in which you asked me very simple, innocent questions. Why? Not right, not fair. This should not have been done. Why is the British doing it? ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, गलत है. Yes, गलत है. It is wrong, fully wrong. But self-suffering, simplicity, and truth is something which he will imbibe in himself. But he believes that the British are not that bad. Not that bad. Fasting is a good thing, cleansing yourself. Vegetarianism was something which he always talked about. So when Gandhi graduates in 1891, he was very clear that he did not want to go to London. He did not want to go to India, because he knew that if he goes back, then again that standard chick chick jig jig, that you went to London, then you have lost your caste, then we will not take you back. And he, as a lawyer, has now seen the open skies and the open air of London. He does not want to go back to India, because he knows that if he goes back, he will see a lot of resistance from his own community. But to be a lawyer was easy, to get employment is more difficult. But I hope you understand what innocence Gandhi has. He has not seen colonialism ever properly at this point of time. And if we are clear about that, then we take the story forward of what he will do thereafter. Can we do that? Gandhi's initial influences and his basic innocence with regards to colonialism. Perfect. Very good. Now, in 1893, after seeking employment between 1891 and 93, looking for employment, Gandhi was very clear, I don't want to go back. I want to get employed. And as it is, an Indian lawyer in Britain was never going to work as it is. Too many lawyers already. Nehru, Motilal Nehru, all of these are already barristers, had become too many at this point of time. So in 1893, he gets a letter. He gets a letter from a person called Dada Abdullah. He's a Gujarati merchant who is in South Africa, which is an British colony. And this Gujarati merchant, he needs legal redressal because he had a dispute over a commodity and consignment with the British government, with the British South African. Redressal is to get a solution. South African government. And the problem is that South Africa does not have a lot of educated Indians, and he is offered that job. Reside in South Africa, and he said it will take maximum 3 to 4 weeks, maximum 2 months. So weren't laws everywhere different? No, British rule is there everywhere, and you're a lawyer, so you're a lawyer. Now Gandhi gets a once in a lifetime opportunity. Within 2 years of completing his studies, he was now getting employment by a Gujarati merchant. He would be the only lawyer who was going to represent Indians. And that way, he found it as a good solution of not going to India, but rather going to South Africa. Now, you will ask me, why did he do it? Because that is called personal interest. Gandhi, at this point of time, has not taken upon himself to destroy colonialism because he does not know what is colonialism. So right now, he's just like you and me. If we get an employment in Jumri Talaiya, we will go there. If we will get employment in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, we will do there. It's about getting employment. It's a desperate time. People want employment. So don't ask me this very innocent question. Why did Gandhi choose between South Africa and India? Because he's a young man who wants a job. And that desperation, I think you understand yourself. So let's be very clear that he did a job, or he took a job which he wanted to take so as to get employment. So very simply, Dada Abdullah's consignment is stuck. He has a little bit of a dispute with the British government. Somebody needs to represent him in the court. Nobody is ready to basically become a lawyer, and British lawyers are very, very, very expensive in that regard. So now in 1893, Gandhi will take his fateful journey from London to South Africa. He had to reach a place called Pretoria, which is the capital. And from there, he had to go to a place called Natal, which is a place where Dada Abdullah was. Dada Abdullah is. Where Dada Abdullah is. So place Dada Abdullah, Natal. At that time, nobody know about Gandhi. No, he's not done anything to become Gandhi. So he chooses to go to South Africa. Now in South Africa, now please understand, in South Africa, there are 3 types of Indians. One is a merchant. And there are 2 more types. One is called indentured labor. How the South African knew about Gandhi who is in London? How the South African knew about Gandhi who is in London? Very good question. Personal friend, internal connections. Somebody told Dada Abdullah that there's MK Gandhi. He can help you. He's one of my relatives. He can help you. Dada Abdullah is a Gujarati merchant. So, nepotism. That is the answer. Indentured labor and free Indian labor. Now, the question, million dollar question, I know, don't type it, is what is indentured labor? Now, see, simple, very simple. You are in, for example, Agra right now. You are in Agra. And you have the aspirations to go to New York. You're a very good chef. Must. You make very good parathas. You make very, very, very good food. You will be a hit in New York, for that is for sure. But the problem is to go to New York, 10 lakh rupees is needed. How will you get this 10 lakh rupees? So what happens is that I come in. I say, I have a restaurant here. I have a restaurant here and I need a good chef. So I said, okay, I will pay these 10 lakh rupees. But when you will reach New York, you work in my restaurant for 5 years, but for free. But for free. Because I paid this 10 lakh rupees for you. And you are working for free, but basically you are paying off your debt. And if it takes me 5 years to pay off 10 lakh rupees, how much am I paying every year? 2 lakhs. So every month, 2 lakhs every month. How much? Every month I'm paying. Let's take it 16,000. Now, basically, he says that I am giving you 16,000. But the problem is I don't give you this 16,000. I cut it out of this 10 lakhs. And on the, or I reached in 2000 and on in 2005, as soon as my 10 lakh is paid, you are now a chef and you are free to do whatever you want to do. You are free to do whatever you want to do. Now, this is basically what you are is an indentured labor. It's not called prepaid labor. It's basically called temporary slavery. It's a very simple concept. I have to go from Karachi to South Africa. In South Africa, I can be better. In Bombay, I am nothing. But to go to South Africa, I need to pay 200 pounds. Now, very simply, as you're still stuck at that every month ratio, leave it. Now, to go from Karachi to Bombay, 200 pounds is needed. 200 pounds is a very big amount. So what contractors used to do was to recruit people here, and they paid this 200 pounds. But on payment on these 200 pounds, you become an indentured labor. Indentured labor is basically free labor for the employer for 5 years. And after 5 years, you can become a free worker or labor. Now, this is basically called temporary slavery. That you work like a slave for 5 years, but the prospect is that after 5 years, you become a free labor. And a lot of Indians went to Mauritius, Fiji, South Africa, Caribbean islands, to the Polynesian sector, wherein as what we call as contract labor or indentured labor. Contract labor or indentured labor. So when I say to you that there are 3 types of Indians here, he is a merchant, he is under 5-year contract to work for someone, and he is an ex-indentured labor. Does this make sense to you? What I've written on the slide itself. What I've written on the slide, does it make sense to you that there are 3 types of Indians? A merchant who basically comes and goes. The second, what is the difference between indentured and bonded labor? Nothing really. Indentured is a specific type. Bonded labor is a generic word. So a merchant comes and goes. Indentured labor for 5 years works under someone. And the third one is a indentured labor who has already spent 5 years. Who has already spent 5 years. He has already paid off his debt and has spent 5 years and more. 5 years and more. He should be indentured for only 5 years, or it can be more or less. It is mostly written, already written. More or less, they take 5 years. It is standard protocol, 5 years. Go any part of across the world, 5 years is standard indentured labor. Lifelong, he works as I'm Ramya, I'm saying something else, and you are saying something else. He will work as indentured labor only for 5 years. Thereafter, he becomes free labor. You are in my restaurant. I used to beat you up. I used to not give you any money. I used to not give you food. But now the problem is you have to work for me for 5 years. As soon as you paid off the 10 lakh, as soon as that happens, you throw away your apron and say that I'm going to work for someone else, and I can't stop you there. I can't stop you there. So are we clear about merchant, indentured labor, free Indian labor? 2 and 3 difference not clear. How do I explain it? Lakshmi, what is not clear? First, you tell me, do you understand what is indentured labor? Then only 2 and 3 will make sense. You understand what is indentured labor? The person who is currently working under bondage is indentured labor. The person who has paid off his debt is basically ex-indenture free Indian labor. So what is the difference? Free Indian labor again, sir. Free is basically now just a person who is seeking job now. So salary system was not there. Here you are going into a it is not that difficult. It's not difficult. It's simple point. You tell me one thing. If I paid 10 lakhs for you, I'm a philanthropist. Am I a philanthropist? Why you will not understand what is a philanthropist. Am I a person who's doing charity? Am I doing it for charity? Don't you get it? Why are you so innocent like Gandhi right now? That he is paying that 10 lakhs, he will make him work for 15 lakhs. For 5 years, he does not get any salary, he does not get any wage, he does not get anything. Only food from the employer. It is now your way to survive these 5 years. But once you have, it is written in a contract itself that after 5 years, he will be free to do what he wants to do. That is why I'm telling you, it's called temporary slavery. You are a slave for 5 years and then you are free. This is the difference between a slave and an indentured labor. Don't Saloni bring in indigo into this. because this is a world labor system and has nothing to do with indigo or commercialization. Indentured labor, you mean slave for 5 years, but free labor means, again, free labor means lifelong slave. Free का मतलब क्या होता है? What is the meaning of Seema? What is the meaning of free? Free means to be in bondage. Free means what? Free labor would mean that he is free to work wherever he wants to. How is a lifelong slave? Indentured labor is nothing but the concept of a bonded labor for a specific period, and thereafter you become free. That's it. That's why there are three types of Indians: merchant, indentured labor, and free Indian labor, which is he is the one who becomes free Indian. This person has spent 0 to 5 years in South Africa. His person has spent more than 5 years. So that means if anyone wants employment, he must have to start from indentured. If you can travel on your own to South Africa, sure, you then don't have to become indentured labor. You can become an indentured labor, you cannot become an indentured labor. It's basically debt bondage for a specific period, and then you become free. Are we clear about this? In free labor, they have wages or not? In principle, they have. But that wage is being cut into if your EMI equals to your salary. Do you really get a salary? That is what is indentured labor. His monthly payment to that person for traveling to South Africa is equal to how much his wages. So that is what is basically indentured labor. Are we clear about this? Then why would anyone take indentured bond other than salary? So you tell me, Ankush, you are in India, you are being beaten up by the British every day. Every day they are making you run behind a carriage. A person tells you only 5 years of hard labor and then you are free in South Africa. Would you not go to South Africa? So again, innocence. But you know why it's called indentured labor? Before I ask you that question, rhetorical point, are we clear about three types of Indians? But rather than cutting whole salary, why don't they ask to cut half of the payback? Democratic, let's go to the Consumer Council of India at this point of time, and he should go and say, nahi bhai, aadha kato. Are you understanding? This is the problem of constitutionality in 2023. Do you understand what is actually happening? You really think that the contractor is so dumb that no, half cut, half pay me? And it's a form of exploitation. Then why would he give him half of the salary? You think it's a negotiation? You think it's a negotiation? You think it's a negotiation? Again, this very innocent concept. Negotiate karna chahiye tha. Or what is the point of negotiation? You think that you are negotiating. I only move forward from this point. Gandhi has now become secondary. Are we clear about this? Merchants are Indians. Why can't there be? Dada Abdullah is a merchant. But merchants don't stay in South Africa. They go back to Gujarat. Can I now move to who is Gandhi going to represent? Because these are the people who are Indian in South Africa. There is no wealthy Indian in South Africa. They are only indentured labor. Are we clear about this concept? I'm not getting the number of yeses from what I'm asking. Okay. Shiva, don't use if they will half of salary period will increase from 5 to 10 years. You are thinking they're a bank. It's not a loan. It's an exploitative move. कोई बैंक नहीं है. It's not a bank that you negotiate. Contractor bhai, you pay me 25%. I will pay you back in 8 years. A contractor, you do one thing, you take half, increase from 5 to 10. It is given, it is done. It is a colonial form of exploitation. These contractors are Britishers. A lot of indentured labor also went to Sri Lanka from India. from Sri Lanka. The Sri Lanka Tamil population is basically indentured labor which went from India to Sri Lanka. Fiji, Mauritius. How do you think that in Fiji, a small island, Mauritius, small island, how Indians reached? How is that there are Indians sitting in Caribbean islands, in Barbados, in Jamaica? Why exploitation in South Africa? Again, who is Sita? Because there is colonialism in South Africa. I have wrote here, it is a British colony. Please, if you will wake up and see what I'm writing, it will make sense to you. It is an infinite loop. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. People did come out of it. People did come out of it. Okay. Now, the reason why it's called indentured, tell me why. I need a piece of paper for that. Whilst I'm looking for a piece of paper, tell me why indentured. Why it's called indentured labor? Why is it called indentured labor? Agreement. Sir, you told in India they were tortured British colonialism. Why not in Africa they tortured? They tortured. Who is saying that they did not torture? See, the reason why it's called indentured is a very simple point. What they used to do was that they used to make a contract, something like this. And on this contract, there would be said, I, Abhishek Mishra, agree to travel to South Africa and work for this person for 5 years for free. Then I will be free. Then it will say here again, I, Abhishek Mishra, agree that I will work for 5 years for this person and then I will be free. And very simply, this contract was torn into two parts. One, the contractor is to keep with him, and one was given to the person who's going to South Africa. And basically, what is left here on this paper, if you can see properly, these are called indentures. So when they used to reach in South Africa, the contractor used to say, who are you? He used to say, this is my part of the contract, and indentures were matched. If the indentures matched, it was the same contract. That is why it's called indentured labor. It is a contractual form of labor which is based on temporary form of slavery for 5 years, or working for a person under bonded debt bondage and then coming out of it for 5 years. So basically, it's called indentured labor. This you will not get in any book, because this is how the origin of the word came. Indentured, based on the indentures of the page itself. So very simply, straightforward, there is the three types of Indians, and I don't have now the indenture in me to basically tell you this again and again. Three types of Indians are there, which is a merchant who comes and goes back, an Indian who has traveled as a debt bondage labor, who's working there for free for a person for 5 years fixed under his contract, and the third is an Indian who has finally paid off his debt to the employer and has now become a free labor who can do anything he wants. I presume that this is correct. What if debt is repaid before expiry of contract? Nobody had that much power to do it. If you were powerful enough, you would not do it. Please understand it. It is not a democratic system. It is a form of exploitation. Indians have an opportunity to get a new life after 5 years. They could run away from British colonialism in India, but could go to South Africa where there's a little bit of better, a little bit down, but still worse, but not that bad as if you could be a beggar in India. Here you could basically become a small form of labor at least. Now I am going to go back to Gandhi, who really matters to me, not this story. I hope there are three types of Indians, and I've explained to you the origin of the word, what is indentured labor, what is free labor, what is merchant. Now can I go back to Gandhi? Gandhi has reached South Africa to represent Dada Abdullah, and Dada Abdullah is now going to ask him to come to Pretoria, and from Pretoria to Natal. Can we discuss that part of the story? I have already given you enough examples. If it still not makes sense, then most probably you are basically either trying to look for logic or for justice or certain form of modern sense of justice. You will not find it there. Okay. Sign a contract, go to Africa, work for 5 years, then you will get some money. You're just paying off that travel money, and once you have paid it off, you become free to work for anyone. Okay. Was it mandated to be? No, there's no mandate. You choose to. It's a voluntary contract which you sign. It's a voluntary contract which you sign. Now Gandhi has reached South Africa. Having been in a princely state and having been in London, he has no idea what South Africa really is. He has not seen colonialism in the right way. Now what he will do is, the suit boot Gandhi will now take the first class ticket of a train between Prieto, from where he landed, where he was deboarded from the port, and towards Pretoria. Basically Durban to Pretoria. But he's taken a first class ticket, thinking like a London, I will travel in the train, sleep and reach Pretoria simply. Now, as soon as Gandhi boards the train, he can see that people are looking at him with very bad eyes. And after 3 stations, at a place called Pietermaritzburg or Pietermaritzburg, Gandhi will be taken out by the TT and thrown on the platform. And he will say that, how can you do that? How can you do that? So the person will say, blacks, browns, and dogs are not allowed in the first class. This was the level of racism which was there in Africa. A Negro, a black person, a brown person, which is an Indian, basically black meant brown also, and dogs, in a way of showing derogatory sense to the blacks and browns. He said that you are an Indian indentured scum does not travel in. You're a colored person, you cannot travel in the first class. Your place is in the general or the third class compartment. Cannot travel in first class. Now Gandhi, for the first time, when he was brushing off his suit, had for the first time seen real colonialism. That the benevolent Britisher, which he thought was just, had now thrown him out of the railway carriage. Now he will go to the station master, say that this is not right. I am a citizen of the British Empire. I have come from London. I cannot be thrown out of first class. I have bought this ticket with my own money. I need to board the first class. I will not go back. Now this is where Gandhi's merchant streak comes in, where he's not ready to give up. So the station master will say that this train has gone. He says, give it to me in the next train. In the next train, again he will board. This time he'll be beaten up. He'll be literally beaten up and again thrown onto the railway track, that you cannot board the first class. Gandhi still did not give up and said that I will not go to the third class bogie because I am an educated Indian. I am a lawyer. I am a citizen of the British Empire. I will not go to the third class. He became so adamant that he was said that, okay, the next train is in the morning. Wait. He will go to every hotel, very good hotels, Every hotel will say, no, we have no space for colored people. So he will have to sleep on the platform of Pittsburgh. Next train when it comes, he says, I will still not go to the third bogie, and he will travel in the bogie which was attached with the driver of the train. But within hours of landing in India, in South Africa, Gandhi had been shown the real face of colonialism, the racist, discriminatory face of colonialism. Now Dada Abdullah, he will meet Dada Abdullah, somehow reach from Pretoria to Natal, having been thrown out multiple times, beaten up literally. Dada Abdullah tells him the situation of Indians in South Africa, and now Gandhi feels that this is wrong. That this is wrong. So in 1893, now Gandhi, having been said that he will only be there for maximum 3 months, and there were multiple disputes which the indentured labor had with the government itself. Now Gandhi starts to take up the issues of the uneducated Indians in South Africa. But in 1893, after landing in South Africa, he has now become a little bit of a crusader, in the sense that the Indians look up to him because they don't know how to fight the British in the legal discourse or in the court itself. So in 1896, after now staying in for 3 years, where he had only vowed to stay for only 3 months, Gandhi will now start what the moderates did as a drama. Gandhi in 1896 said, the reason why Indians are so bad in situation, because the British does not know that the Indians are this situation. Standard, moderate politics. British are good, but jante nahi. They don't know. They don't know that Indians are in such a big pain. If they get to know, British will do something. Now, from 1896 to 1906, this is called Gandhi's moderate phase. Moderate phase. Why is it called Gandhi's moderate phase? Because he's going to do the same thing. Please, prayer, petition. He will send it to the South African government. He will send it to the Governor General and Viceroy, the Governor of Natal. Gandhi had not seen what colonialism is. But the more he sent petitions, the more he realized that the fact is that the British are not going to listen. The British are not going to listen. So now Gandhi in 1906 will change. And the change will come because of a bill which is called the Registration Bill or Act. In 1888 he left for London. 1891 he completes. 1893 he reaches South Africa. 1896 he starts to basically fight for the Indians. But between 1896 and 1906, for close to 10 years, he's fighting with prayer petition. But I think we already know what is the answer of the British to moderate politics. Was there any chance that Gandhi was ever going to succeed in this phase, 1896 to 1906? And the answer is big no. No way. Now in 1906, an act comes from the British which is called the Registration Act. And under the Registration Act, the British now make a rule. And the rule is that every Indian at all times, when outside their home, need to carry a card on which their photo is there and their fingerprint is there. Basically, it's a identity card. It's an ID card. It's called Registration Act. It's called Registration Act. You have to go and register with the police. The police will give you this ID card. This ID card will need to be always in your pocket. If the British asks you to give it to you or give certain form of ID card, you have to give it. Think of it like the government saying that every moment, every time, every second you are outside the house, you need to have an Aadhaar card with you always. And if you don't have this registration or this Aadhaar card, you will be jailed. So, if you cannot prove your identity to anybody, you will be jailed. Now, Gandhi saw this as an inhumane form of categorizing Indians, and he saw injustice in it. And in 1906, after having a newspaper called where he was called the Indian Opinion, where he was talking about Indians, he had a body. It's called the Transvaal, what we call as Transvaal organization. Transvaal is a place. Natal and Transvaal is a place. He was already having a proper organizational base. He will say enough is enough. And in 1906, Gandhi will go for his or go into his Satyagraha method, which he had been developing but had not used between 1896 to 1906. In 1906, he will for the first time develop Satyagraha. Now, what I need to explain to you is what is Satyagraha. Can I discuss that? Are we all clear with regards to the story? We are slowly but surely moving towards him coming to India, right? It targets Indians and blacks both, but Gandhi doesn't care about the blacks right now. Now, what did he do between 1903 and 1906? How is there a gap? 1896 to 1906 and 1906 onwards. So why are you asking me what he's doing between 1903 and 1906? Please repeat identity card part. Identity card part is the fact which is related to its 1903 to 1906 is moderate politics. I have the details, but that doesn't really matter. Indian opinion, this and that doesn't matter. Registration Act applies to Indians. Stop thinking about the blacks. First, get your own independence, then talk about others. Right? So don't be a crusader here. I don't care about them, and you don't need to, and Gandhi also didn't. So calling him a racist, sure, why not? India is burning, you want to do for others. India comes first, and for Gandhi, Indian interest was first. South African population was black, so the registration bill only applied to Indians and black also. But why are you talking about blacks? I'm talking about Indians, and Gandhi is related to India. The story is that in 1906, Registration Act mandates every Indian to have a ID card with him or her, which has a stamp, which has a photo and a what we call as fingerprint. Can I talk about Satyagraha now? If it is a bill, it should apply to all. Perfect. Great. Very good constitutionality. Polity 100 out of 100. Now we will discuss. Okay. Satyagraha. Now, Satyagraha means Satya, which is truth. Agrah means seeking and emphasis. But before he used this word satyagraha, he used the word called passive resistance. And that is what is satyagraha. Now, satyagraha has multiple components. The first point is a satyagrahi. I will discuss what is passive, don't worry. Satyagrahi, he has to be ready to suffer, to self-suffer, and to struggle. And to struggle. Gandhi is in South Africa, then was he praised petition for Indians? Indians in South Africa to South African government. Please, Indians in South Africa to the South African government. So Satyagrahi should be ready to suffer and to self-suffer and to struggle. But a Satyagrahi always has to do passive resistance, unlike active resistance. See, according to Gandhi, moderates are useless because he had already tried it himself. Moderates don't resist. Moderates plead. But Gandhi did not agree with the other story or the other part of moderates, which is violence, which is active resistance, which is using violence. He rather chose something which is called passive resistance. Passive resistance means you rebel, but by not engaging. You rebel, but by not engaging. Rebel by not engaging. What do I mean by rebel and not engage? You don't sit like the moderates and send petitions and wait for the British to do something. You rebel. But by not engaging, not in violence, by not engaging the oppressor. And there are 4 or 3 basic methods which are there within Satyagraha. Non-cooperation, civil disobedience, the concept of non-violence, and the concept of self-suffering. Now, a lot of you stop telling me what it is and listen to me. I am telling you what it is. So stop. It is like moderate, it's like extremist. Let me tell. Gandhi has gone through his moderate phase. He has seen that sending petitions will not do anything. Gandhi has also understood that the British are not what they were between 1893, between his 1888 to 1896 period, wherein he has realized that British colonialism is much bigger and much more problematic than what it should be or is. And therefore, Gandhi will develop a new method. It's his own method. It's called Satyagraha or passive resistance. No, he did not take it from anybody. He did not take it from somewhere else. He was influenced by Tolstoy, Ruskin, from Thoreau, from his mother, and he will develop this new methodology very specific to Gandhi. That is why Gandhi is Gandhi, which is Satyagraha. The Satyagraha has multiple components. One being that you will never fight and you will be non-violent, which is you cannot do active resistance. Resistance has to take a passive form, and therein comes the concept of non-cooperation and civil disobedience. There's a very subtle difference between the two, but non-cooperation leads to civil disobedience, and let me tell you what it is then. Non-cooperation is the concept of not cooperating with the laws. Not cooperating with the laws which are there. Basically, for example, under the Registration Act, what was said was that you have to carry that registration or that bill in your pocket. Basically, that ID card should be in your pocket. Now, when the police ask for it, you say, don't have it. So they will say, come with me to the police station. Okay. And as soon as he starts to say that this person has breached the concept of not having a registration act, you take out that and give it to the policeman. You wanted this. But when the British asked for it, you don't give it. Basically, you're not cooperating with the authorities. You are not cooperating with the authorities. You yourself have done it. For example, in your college, a teacher would have said that you have to give and everybody has a Gandhi inside him, that you have to give your assignment on 22nd. Non-cooperation. I don't have it on 22nd. I will give it on 28th only. Or the whole class does not bring the assignment on 22nd. So, a very important part of non-cooperation civil disobedience is mass participation. And I'll tell you why. If everybody brings their assignment on 22nd and you don't bring it, then what is going to happen? Most probably, the teacher will punish you, not take your assignment. So, ab kar lo satyagrah. Do your satyagrah. You non-cooperated, but nobody supported you. And you would have seen that also, that you've done it with your parents also. You want something. Moderate politics has failed. So you will start non-cooperation. Give me the glass of water. I'm deaf. They will be stuck in their phone. You will not help them. This payment is not going. I don't know. See, non-cooperation, you don't break a law. Non-cooperation, you don't break the law. But everybody has to do it, then only it works. I'll give you a very simple example of non-cooperation and you will never forget it. There are three types of bikers in India. One is that one who wears a helmet, and the second one who does not wear the helmet. One is abiding by the law, the other one does not abide by the law. And then one is called the Satyagrahi biker. He will keep the helmet in his hand and drive the bike, will not wear the helmet. Helmet hai. I have the helmet, but I will not wear it. I've seen it for sure. I have the helmet, but as soon as the police will come, I will wear it. This is called non-cooperation. That I will not cooperate with your laws, but if you will ask me, I have the helmet in my hand. In the Registration Act, this is what Gandhi taught the Indians of South Africa. Non-cooperation. If the British police asks you for the registration act, don't show it to them. And if they take you to the police station, show it to them. Think how annoying this would be for the British. 10 people, you are taking them to the police station. They say that they are charged with the concept of not having registration bill. But they say, I did not understand you what you were asking for. In a way, that person who wears the helmet is a moderate. Who does not wear a helmet is an extremist. Active resistance. I don't care about the rules only. I'm ready to die and break my head like a watermelon, but I will not wear the helmet itself. That's called active resistance. That's called active resistance. Active resistance is when you basically engage with the oppressor. See, here there's no engagement. I did not do anything. You said show, I did not show. Then you said show again, I showed. This is called passive resistance. Basically, you are resisting by not obeying. This is what Thoreau said, right? Non-cooperation has a very thin line where you don't break the law. You don't break the law. Is non-cooperation clear? Now comes civil disobedience. Civil disobedience is very simple. Break laws, but so insignificant that they don't matter only. Non-cooperation don't break the law. Civil disobedience actively break laws, but not major ones. Not that you go and murder a person. No, no, no. Your mother says, come at 8 p.m. in the night. You enter at 8:15. You have broken the law, but not that she will start to beat you up. You have been told to not go to a place at this point of time. You still went. This is called civil disobedience. Civil disobedience again needs mass action. Because if your brother comes at 8 and you come at 8:15, then you will for sure get killed that day. Because one person did it, the other person did not do it. Unity is something which is important. And civil disobedience will be used by Gandhi in the next 3 acts which will come, which I will tell you. Right now, I am discussing the method of satyagraha with you. Every Indian in their life has done satyagraha. Every Indian is a satyagrahi himself. Till today, you use his methods, but you don't know you're using his methods. From mass bunking, which is civil disobedience, to not giving assignments on time, which is non-cooperation, with not listening to your parents, which is again non-cooperation. Every child born in India already knows non-cooperation and civil disobedience. Non-cooperation is to annoy the oppressor. Civil disobedience is to prove a point. By civil disobedience, you are showing to the British or to that person that I do not agree with you. But I'm not breaking a law that I'm going and burning a train. But I'm at least, if I was not asked to travel from Transvaal to Natal, I will cross with Transvaal Natal. And they said, what will you do maximum? Jail bharo. You will put us in jail. So non-cooperation and civil disobedience, mass action is important. But the point is that the person who is doing it should be ready to suffer. Because he will be beaten up. He may be thrown in the jail. He will be shown oppression. But the day you do violence, you are no one else than the oppressor himself. So people tend to say that, what are you trying to do, Gandhi? That somebody hits you, you should not hit him back. That is not what Gandhi is saying. For him, it's like if everybody is being hit by the same person, then you hit back. Gandhi was not dumb to say that somebody is doing lathi charge on you and you don't say anything. He's not that dumb. He's just saying that, no, don't do violence, annoy the oppressor. Ignorance is something which is more more dangerous than engaging. And again, you've done it in your life for sure. Your father and mother are saying something, you are not listening to them only. Ignorance is bliss. You are non-engaging, passive resistance. I will engage by not engaging only. Non-cooperation is without breaking laws, don't cooperate. Non-cooperation, don't cooperate with authorities. Civil disobedience is to be disobedient of laws which are civil, small laws, so as to send a message to the person that you don't agree with that law or you don't agree with that person. Are we clear about satyagraha as a method? Are we clear about this? Now, Gandhi developed this satyagraha between 1896 to 1906 and he applied it between 1906 and 1915. And there were multiple instances in which Gandhi did develop an understanding. But one more thing Gandhi understood in that struggle. Now, the first thing which he fought against was called the Registration Act. It is here for the first time he will use non-cooperation. Every Indian needs to carry a proof of identity and will need to make sure that the ID card is always with them. Response: non-cooperation and not furnishing the card itself. Anybody has any issue here? Because then I want to discuss the other three acts, which is immigration, poll tax, and marriage act. No issue? Okay, very good. Now comes the next, which is called the immigration bill. The immigration bill very simply said that Indians needed certain permissions to move between districts of South Africa. And very simply, here he used the concept of civil disobedience. Here he did civil disobedience. From Natal to Transvaal, there are two places. This was not allowed without permission. And what Gandhi did was, Gandhi, along with his satyagrahis, crossed without permission. Everybody was thrown in the jail, but after 10-15 days, they were released because no real charges against them. Thereafter came a problematic bill which is called poll tax. Poll tax is a very dangerous act. South African government said every Indian who is a free labor needs to pay £3 per month to remain free. Basically, they are now charging the Indians who have come out of indenture, £3 per month as a way of remaining free tax. So to imagine that today the government of India says that if you want to not go to jail today, every month pay us 1 lakh rupees. If everybody pays 1 lakh rupees, okay. If not, you go to jail. And £3 is a very big amount for a Indian indenture to be paid to the British. And here again, he did non-cooperation, wherein nobody should pay it. But the worst act which basically made Gandhi very, 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 very angry, was Marriage Act. And under Marriage Act, it was said every marriage which has not been done in Christian rituals and have been registered with the registrar of marriages is an invalid marriage. So basically, Muslim, Hindu, Parsi, or any non-Christian marriage is not recognized. And this is something which Gandhi found unacceptable, because this was a disgrace to the women. And more than that, the biggest point, all these laws implemented in South Africa, yes. Biggest point, every child born will also be an illegitimate child. And here Gandhi increased the intensity of his struggle, wherein he mixed up fasting plus processions protest plus non-cooperation plus civil disobedience. Every marriage which is not been done in Christian rituals or has been registered and has been registered with the registrar of marriages is an invalid marriage, or has not been registered with the registrar of marriages, an invalid marriage. Why these acts brought in first place? Sadistic, colonial. So yeah, it's a sadistic colonial policy. There's no logic to it. It's just racial discrimination. Because this was all applied to blacks, it is also applied to India and Indians. It's all South African politics which is based on discrimination. You said non-cooperation means doing something by annoying him. But in case of poll tax bill, again, as I said, Payal, there's a fine line between non-cooperation and civil disobedience. Here it starts as non-cooperation. People will be in a way not paying it, but will pay it eventually. But initially, they will not pay it. If everybody does not pay, then there is a certain amount of leverage. Now, These are the 4 acts. Nobody's asking you a question about these. Registration Act, Immigration Act, Poll Tax and Marriage Act. RIP, rest in peace, Mahatma M. Registration, immigration, poll tax and marriage. He is going to do his standard things, which is non-cooperation, civil disobedience. I really don't care about that right now. What I want to talk about is what is a method which Gandhi developed, which is going to be critical, and it is the way the whole national movement is now going to be, in a way, what we call as structured. Can I discuss that? In all, he is using non-cooperation, civil disobedience, this and that. But he is going to develop a certain, he will realize something, which is something very, very significant for Indian politics later. I've established to you Gandhi's life. I've established to you Gandhi's moderate phase. I've established to you the, the importance of that moderate phase. That Gandhi had already gone through his moderate phase in South Africa. That is why when he came to India, he did not need to go from his moderate phase. But what I want to discuss is, out of all of this, which is registration, immigration, poll, and what we call as Marriage Act, the fact is, what I want to discuss is how does Gandhi see the whole sector or whole movement in South Africa? It's a very important method which will be used in India. Can I discuss that? I've discussed certain aspects with you. I want to discuss something very, very important. Though Satyagraha knows everyone about Gandhiji, believe on him in India, Satyagraha is first big work of Gandhi. Yes, sure, why not? Yes, developed in South Africa. That is why South African experience, I will tell you why it is important. What is the profit of non-cooperation if you're paying it eventually? It is to basically create a annoying way of engaging and not engaging. You're protesting, but you're not also doing something actively, but just not paying it. It's not about breaking laws. It's not about doing active resistance. It's about just conveying to the British that we don't like this law and we will not abide by it. It's just about sending a message. Now pay attention. Pay attention. What Gandhi saw, what Gandhi saw in the movement in South Africa was that there is a capacity to which people can resist. A capacity to which people can resist. And after that point, their enthusiasm and their capacity to resist or fight goes down. And they need a cooling period. They need a cooling period. And thereafter, you can expect them to struggle again. If a person is going to jail for 10 days, coming out for 1 month, then going again for 10 days, it's okay. But every third day you are in jail, day after day out, day after day out, day after day out, you are basically struggling for months. Will your morale be the same when you started? Will your morale be the same when you started? No. And herein lies a concept which he developed, which was the concept of the ashram, which is in South Africa. After the poll tax, people started to feel that nothing is working. The Immigration Act was still there, Registration Act was still there, poll tax was still there. People were getting frustrated. One of his friends, Klenbach, is going to give him a small house for the Satyagrahis to stay, which he will call Tolstoy Farm. And Gandhi will see that people need time to rejuvenate. And basically what Gandhi will realize, that a movement is like a machine. After a point, it starts to overheat. And therefore, he will develop a very important concept which is called struggle, truce, struggle, concept of movement, and satyagraha. Truce means draw. Now, basically, struggle through struggle means that you fight, but then you cool down because people will become frustrated. Let them rest. Then again, you struggle. Then you cool down. I'll give you a very simple example how Gandhi applied it in India. Rowlatt Satyagrah, Jallianwala Bagh happened, cool down. Khilafat movement, non-cooperation, Chauri Chara, cool down. Which is withdraw the movement after Jallianwala Bagh, withdraw the movement after Chauri Chara, because he was not going to get anything out of that movement as it is. Then from 1923 to 1927, nothing. Then Simon Commission again starts civil disobedience, Gandhi impact, cool down. Then again civil disobedience part 2, withdraw it, cool down. Quit India, cool down by the time we get independence. Gandhi's movements are based on struggle through struggle. Chauri Chaura, Jallianwala Bagh, you can say basically Gandhi impact, and Quit India I don't count because Quit India Gandhi had no control. These three are points of truce. Rowlatt Satyagraha, non-cooperation, CDM is basically struggle. This is a known concept. You can write it in the examination. Struggle through struggle is a known concept of Gandhi, which is this methodology was developed by Gandhi in South Africa. Now, see, teachers tend to just say that in 1915, truce, not true. Truce means to take a draw. The teachers tend to say that they just start by saying Gandhi landed in India in 1915. But you need to understand that his South African experience is very, very important. Because his South African experience, three things are happening. In the South African experience, he has already gone through his moderate phase. So that is out of his system. South African experience, he develops Satyagraha as a method, and struggle through struggle had also been developed. Basically, when Gandhi will keep his foot on India, when he will land at Surat, when he will reach Surat, he was not here to joke around. He knew what he was going to do, because through his Satyagraha and struggle to struggle, Gandhi succeeded in 1915 to make the British take back all these laws in South Africa. And Gandhi, by this point of time, had become that Indian who could basically make the British do things, and the biggest thing, take back things. This is quite significant. People tend to downplay his South African experience, but Gandhi's South African experience is his formative phase. He was Gandhi before he reached India. He was not Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. He was Gandhi. He was that Gandhi who could make the British do things. And that is why between 1906 to 1915, we believe that Gandhi had become a way of making the British do things. Why were the British ready to do things? Because Gandhi had made the life of the British a living hell. Indians fighting, Indians enter jail, Indian going in and out. Understand, this is a child strategy. If you've seen, mother is ignoring, the child is saying mama, 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 mummy, mom, mom. They're saying, till a point the mother is going to ignore. After a point it becomes annoying. And when it becomes annoying, that is what the British became of Gandhi. It was like, you go to India, we will take all these acts back, just go. We have had enough of you. This is called, here you need patience. If you have patience, you can win with Satyagraha. Just wear down the oppressor. Literally wear down. What was one of the most important methods of Gandhi? Fasting. Now imagine how annoying fasting is. If you don't take this back, I will fast. I will kill myself by hunger. Imagine. For once, think that this is also something which your mother follows, that if you will not do this, I will not eat food. Till one point, it's okay. But after a point, it becomes annoying. Take this back or I'll kill myself. If I kill myself, people will burn you. It's based on wearing the oppressor down. So if you understand the importance of South African experience, I want to just go through this whole story through the PPT, then give you a break and then talk about India, because in India now Gandhi will weave his magic. But Gandhi was very strategic that way. I will tell you, he's a very strategic person when he comes back to India. Can I discuss the story with you again in a way? Okay, now we know that white domination was very entrenched in South Africa, and the discrimination of Indians was at all levels in that regard. And when in June of 1893 he reaches the Pietermaritzburg station, he's thrown off the station of the train itself. In retaliation to it, he will develop what is called the Natal Indian Congress, which will fight prejudice against color. Then he will, by 1901, move a resolution in the Calcutta Congress session. He will ask Gopal Krishna Gokhale to talk about South Africa in the INC, but we had bigger issues to do, but the moderates did. Then he will develop in 1903 the concept of the Transvaal British Association. Transvaal British Association. And thereafter, he will develop his Indian opinion, 1904. And then by 1904 end, he will have his own settlement, small settlement called Phoenix Settlement. But his basic moderate move will wear out by September of 1906, and he will go from 1906 onwards into his Satyagraha phase. Now, let's do one thing. It's a lot. Let's take a break here because I can see your energy levels. Let's take a break here. We'll come back at what? 7:05. I'm giving you 15 minutes. Take 7:05, but because when you come back, I want energy high. Phoenix is a place. I want energy high. Right? Done? Perfect. Great. So I'll come back at 7:05, take the story forward and talk about India. At least that way it will fresh. Okay. Truce time. Yes, truce time. Welcome back. Welcome back. Break is getting too long. Very good. ले लेंगे वापस ले लेंगे कोई टेंशन नहीं. We'll take the time back. Don't worry about it. Additional reading, I'll get that sorted. London Indians are free to do anything anywhere. That is still saying Gandhi didn't understand. Ankush, that is true. In London, the true form of colonialism is not there. Can we start again? Have to read the story of South Africa, then very important discussion. Gopal Krishna Gokhale is considered to be the political guru of Gandhi when he came back. He gave a lot of important advices which Gandhi will follow. Gandhi is his name, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, like Mishra Gandhi. Okay. Now, we have discussed his moderate phase. Why Gandhi not giving ICS exam? घर वालों ने pressure नहीं बनाया. The people of his house did not say him to give the IAS examination. Okay. In London, the forms of racism are much lower. The number of is much lower than that. Okay. So we've discussed his initial efforts, which is that you have the Natal Indian Congress, the Transvaal British India Association. You have, for example, the concept of Indian opinion, a newspaper, a settlement, a small settlement in Phoenix. He's doing everything. And then in 1906, he changes his orientation. And why is that this period of 1896 to 1906 is important? Because during this period of 1894 to 1906, but to be very precise, 1896, Gandhi was in his moderate phase. And during this phase, he concentrated on petitioning and sending memorials to the South African legislature. And he believed that if the imperial government, the British sense of justice will come in, and that will arouse a feeling, and that will in turn lead to the British doing good for the Indians. So as you see, moderate politics, same type of understanding. Now, he will start to unite the people. He will have a Natal Congress, a newspaper called Indian Opinion. But very simply, by 1906, Gandhi realized that nothing was going to be achieved by moderate politics generally. And this is very important because, as I told you previously, every movement goes from moderate to extremist. So you have to take out moderate from your system, which Gandhi did take out between 1896 and 1906. Now, his second phase is called the Satyagraha phase, wherein he will now, based on the Registration Act, which said that everybody should compulsorily carry the certificates of registration, and this in turn was now his way of launching his new method, which is called Satyagraha. Now, between 1906 and 1915, he will get involved in a lot of things. For example, it will start with the Registration Act. In 1906, he will fill the Imperial Theatre with Indians, and there will be a huge public gathering against the British, against Registration Act. Thereafter, he will also establish the Passive Resistance Association. Then the Immigration Act is going to stop Indian immigration into certain areas in South Africa, and he will then from Natal cross into Transvaal and get arrested. But the more and more people were getting involved in this battle, the more people were getting frustrated. And it is in this context that Gandhi will set up the Tolstoy farm, made possible through the generosity of his German architect friend Klenbach. And in this, the Satyagrahis and their families will be given a little space to sit. It is here that Gandhi will develop his concept of ashram, where people can rejuvenate after they have been in Satyagraha. It is the place where you can go for a truce. Thereafter, poll tax, £3 imposed on all ex-indentured Indians. The inclusion of the poll tax will now make more and more people get part of this struggle. Gandhi's movement is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And the nail in the coffin will come when the government will introduce the Marriage Act, which will invalidate all marriages conducted according to Christian rites. And very simply, which meant Parsi, Hindu, Muslim, all marriages were illegal, and the Indians treated this as an insult to their honor of their women, and this in turn will lead to Gandhi intensifying his what we call as struggle period. And by that time, Lord Harding, the viceroy from India, along with C.F. Andrews and General Smuts. General Smuts is the governor of Natal, along with the South African government. They will go into an agreement, and all these acts will be removed. For us, this story does not hold any real importance other than telling us that Satyagraha, the concept of Satya ka Agrah, wherein non-violence truthfulness is a very, very important concept. Political expression and weapon is a way of life, not as a physical weapon, but as a moral weapon. Like passive resistance of the extremists, they are now developing active to passive. People should be united. People should be ready to experience hardship, and it should be done on proper occasion. A very important point. If you do satyagraha too much, there will come a time that people will not take you seriously, and that would have happened to your struggle also. When every time you will tell your parents that I will do this, I will do that, they will believe that you will do it, do that, and it will basically take away the power of your struggle itself. So, very simply, 1906 speech at Johannesburg, he for the first time used the concept of passive resistance, which he will call Satyagraha. And for the curious people in this class, I have given you the whole timeline between 1893 to 1914, what Gandhi did in South Africa. Now, if that is clear, I want to now discuss Gandhi and India and a very important concept. This is where our discussion becomes most important. Also to consider, Gandhiji must have resided among educated Indians. Yes, that is true. Educated classes, so less racism. Okay. You don't have to remember those dates. That is only for your reference. Now, what I've established since the beginning of the class is if you remember, I showed you this slide. I have now finally reached 1915. I've told you why he left, why he went to South Africa, Gandhi moderate phase, Gandhi ex Satyagrah phase. Are we all clear about 1915? Because now we go into the most important discussion, which is Gandhi and India, and where things are going to become very, very interesting very, very quickly in that regard. Okay. Okay. Can we start now? Everybody on the same page with me. Gandhi has now chosen to come back to India, and that is very significant. We have to discuss why. That is what we have to discuss, which is why. Why does he want to come back to India, and what is the implications of that? Okay, perfect. Now listen to me. Now understand one thing. Gandhi has already gone through his moderate politics, and Gandhi has already developed his methodology. So Gandhi is not like Firoz Shah Mehta or Gopal Krishna Gokhale that they're trying to find their voice. And Gandhi is not like any random organization which is trying to fight with the British. Gandhi, on the other hand, has now done something which everybody is going to talk about. Gandhi had finally landed in India. Now, when Gandhi comes back to India, he's no random person. He's a superstar. Whatever Gandhi was doing in South Africa was very extensively covered in Indian newspapers or Indian vernacular newspapers. And when Gandhi comes back, he is no random he's no random person. He's Gandhi, who made the British do something which the British did not want to do. Gandhi will contact Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Gokhale will say, do one thing. Don't join any organization. Don't join the INC also. Do something which is go and see what India is, because when you left India and what India is today is totally different. That is why Gandhi said that advice was very important to me. He did not become part of the Home Rule League movement. He did not become part of the Indian National Congress. He just said, I'm a rock star. I have come. I want to travel India. But try to understand this point. Gopal Krishna Gokhale is very smart in saying this to Gandhi, because Gandhi would have got affiliated to people. He does not want to do that. But more than that, please understand this point. Gandhi setting foot in India, and when he was leaving, is a totally different person. When he was leaving, he was just a student. When he's come back, his fables, his stories have now spread across India, that there is one guy called Gandhi who made the British take away all the acts, and the British agreed to this person. Agreed to this person. Gandhi himself knows what he has to do. He does not have to go through the moderate phase. If I give you a question, for example, if I give you a question like this, for example, the South African experience of Gandhi was critical for his political methodology. Comment. 250 words. Will you be able to write this, or 150 words? Will you be able to write this question? That for the political methodology of Gandhi, South African experience was very, very important. You will be very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Now pay attention. Now Gandhi, this is 45, 1 second. Gandhi, when he went, he used to look like this. He used to look like this. Suit boot ka Gandhi. The Gandhi in all suit, tie, looks like a Britisher. Now, when he comes back to India, he changes his appearance. He changes his appearance. Now, Gandhi, now pay attention. See, people tend to discount the power of Gandhi and discount the contribution of Gandhi because they don't understand what Gandhi was doing. See, Gandhi is a very good PR specialist, public relations specialist. He knows what to do and what not to do and how to prove that he can do something. See, if Gandhi looks like me, would a peasant, would a person on the ground connect with Gandhi? No, because Gandhi would look like a Britisher. This is British cloth. So Gandhi, what he does is he comes to Sabarmati, he comes to India, establishes a Sabarmati ashram. So British ask Gandhi, haven't I seen you somewhere? He says, yes. Where have I seen you? South Africa. And they say, so you're Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi of South Africa? He says, yes. Then what are you doing here? Ashram. I want moral, spiritual betterment of the people. Ashram. Sabarmati. Aja. Come see. I am not doing any political activity. Now you see how Gandhi is very, 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 very smart. And see, Gandhi has been called to be a person who invoked religion quite a lot. But Gandhi understood one thing. Religion sells. If I do something in the name of religion, and if I do something in the name of morality, people will do more in the name of morality or religion. He left South Africa because he said that my work is done. I want to now go back to my home country and give it independence. People will do more in the name of religion. But if you can burn your women on the funerary pyre of their husband and say that very good, then you can do anything in the name of religion. So Gandhi understood that. Now Gandhi, what he did is he gave up all of this. He gave up all of this. And he now started to dress like just one cloth with dhoti, and his basic lathi had become old also. But now, what is Gandhi's call? I will not join any political organization. I want to see India. Now people can connect with the way Gandhi is wearing what he's wearing because that is how people look. But Gandhi will use the most important tool of colonialism and destroy colonialism through it, which is railways. So his idea was that I will go from one point to the other via the railways, and I want to see real India. I want to see real India. Now, Gandhi has now a new value. See, if his suit boot ka Gandhi he's a if it's Gandhi who wears suit boot, people don't connect with him. But now a conception develops, and this is very, very well documented, very beautiful article of Shahid Amin about it. It's a very beautiful article which talks about the concept of Gandhi Darshan. Ki bhai, Baba Gandhi has come. Gandhi Baba ki jai. That this is the Baba who's come from South Africa. He did magic in South Africa and the British took everything back. Gandhi is not appealing to the educated Indian because he's already clear of what is colonialism. He wants to bring the masses into the fold. So he says, I am an Indian. I don't wear suit and shirt. I wear something like you. I want to connect with everybody. But now what happens is that people start to project, and please pay attention, you'll not find this in standard books. The concept of Gandhi Darshan is a very interesting thing, which is people now start to project things on Gandhi. Wherever the train used to go, there used to be a concept that who are you going to see? Gandhi Baba ko dekhne ja rahe hain. That I am going to go and see Gandhi Baba. And now people will also start to link stories with Gandhi. For example, one person started to say, and this is documented, that my cattle was not well. I went to the station, I saw Gandhi Baba, I came back and my cattle was perfect. Then they said that this Jamindar is a very bad Jamindar. I went and I had the privilege of looking at Gandhi Darshan. When I came back, my Zamindar broke his leg. See, justice happened. Gandhi Baba did magic. This is the aura of Gandhi. Gandhi is no random person. He is the person who has proven to the people he can destroy British rule. He can take or can do something which the British can take back their things. 1.5 lakh to 2 lakh people used to wait on stations to just get a glimpse of Gandhi. People started linking stories with Gandhi. And what is more interesting is, the most interesting is, Gandhi has been multiple times criticized that what is the song which used to basically begin when Gandhi, which is the song which is linked to Gandhi? Does anybody know that that song which is linked to Mahatma Gandhi? One is Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram and the other one is Vaishnav Janto Tene Kahiye, which is Vaishnav Janto Tene Kahiye and Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram. Now, you would say that Gandhi is he's religiously conscious. He's not religiously conscious. Gandhi used to do bhajan in the beginning of his political meetings because he said to the British, "तो bhajan करने, वैष्णव भजन तो तेने कहिए." And if people were asked, "Where are you going?" हम तो भजन करने जा रहे, Baba Gandhi has come, we will do bhajan with him. He has a political message behind it. But he knew what to do when it came to projecting to people. So if he did not do bhajan, now a very important example of doing this bhajan is because women got involved in this movement. Women were not allowed to go anywhere. But when people were asked, or women were asked that, where are you going? I'm going to Gandhi Baba, Darshan, Bhajan. Bhajan. This is the power of Gandhi. This is the aura of Gandhi, which nobody had this point of time. You can criticize him. You can talk about his religious consciousness. You can say that he was this, he was that. But Gandhi was Gandhi. He was very clear what he wanted to do. He changed his appearance. He changed his understanding. he started to talk about certain religious issues. क्या है तो भाई ashram, I am just running an ashram. I am here to just look at India. So now people are getting connected. This is what the moderates lacked. Surendranath Banerjee, Firoz Shah Mehta were never able to connect with the people because people did not connect with him. So Gandhi's outward appearance is basically based on his understanding of how he wants to project to the people. Now, do we understand the concept of Gandhi Darshan, which is people projecting something on him itself? Bapu, Baba, Mahatma, that image comes from there. That image comes from there. Are we clear about this? Because then I tell you one thing very interesting. Now, if I have cleared UPSC, for example, and you give me 12th class history paper, and if I fail that 12th class history paper, question to karoge? You will ask questions. That how can this illiterate man clear UPSC but not clear 12th class? There will be questions asked. Now, Gandhi has come after defeating the British on Poll Tax, Immigration Act, the Registration Act and Marriage Act. Now, if Gandhi landed and said, the day I keep my foot on India, the British should be gone, would the British go anywhere? Would the British go anywhere? No. As soon as Gandhi comes, he says, separate electorates should be gone, will not work under my understanding. Would the British remove separate electorates? Gandhi knew that if he chooses something very big initially, the day he comes, he will fail. Now, Gandhi's initial intervention are in 3 areas. Champaran, Kheda, Ahmedabad. Do you really think that it is a coincidence that these 3 issues were basically so local and were solvable? The reason why Gandhi took up Champaran, took up Ahmedabad, took up Kheda was there was a solution there. Because he wanted to show to the people, see, मैंने किया तो सत्याग्रह हो गया. I did satyagrah and see British have gone. Gandhi very categorically chooses his initial interventions, which we have to discuss, Champaran, Kheda, Ahmedabad. But understand the logic behind it. If you look at the track record of Gandhi, to be very honest, he was able to link the peasants because he was able to show to the peasants that satyagrah works at Champaran, to the workers at Kheda and Ahmedabad. But except for Kheda, Ahmedabad and Champaran, where he was actually successful, was any other Gandhian movement successful? And the answer to that question is, and I will show you, no. Rowlatt Satyagraha started, Jallianwala Bagh happened, stopped. Non-cooperation started, people burnt some police officers, Chauri Chora stopped. CDM started, salt law, I will get Swaraj within a year, nothing came after a year, Gandhi Irwin Pact stopped. Came again, CDM phase 2, we will do something, we will get Swaraj after 1 year, stopped. Quit India, he says, we will do Quit India, gets arrested, next day gone, stopped. If you look at it, Gandhi was never able to achieve what he started with except for Champaran, Kheda, Ahmedabad. Dandi March he did, he broke the salt law. But was breaking the salt law what India wanted? Gandhi's target was getting independence. But in neither of these independence acts or in movements, Gandhi succeeded. But the value of Gandhi is not in success, but something else, which I will tell you later when we have done this whole set. the Rowlatt Satyagraha, NCM, CDM, and Quit India. But what I mean to say to you is very simple. Don't think that Gandhi is a dumb person. Don't think that Gandhi, you do Gandhi bashing today, he deserves to be on the rupee note. Because there has been no one else who has been like Gandhi. He knew what he wanted to do. When he landed in 1915, his agenda was very straight. He was a very good, very good strategist. He knew when to stop, struggle to struggle. He knew. He knew when to start. He knew when to very simply change and pivot. I literally cannot understand anything. Wow, very good. So, Ayman, you are not understanding this lecture or anything before it or after it. You can't understand anything till this point. मैं तो अलग लेवल का सत्याग्रह हो गया. Aman, today is my first lecture. Well, obviously, Ayman, you are coming into quantum physics not knowing physics, chemistry, and biology. So you have told me as soon as you had come in class. Obviously, you have to go back and watch the past. I don't know how many lectures have also happened by now. Past 16 lectures. This lecture included 15 lectures you have to go through. Every lecture is 3.5 hours, more or less 3 hours. So how many hours does Ayman needs to go through? 16 classes, 3 hours. So अलग data देते हो. But 16 3s has to be only one thing ना. 48 hours. So Ayman, I have a question. Please ask me that question. Ayman, I would love to take your questions. Everybody knows that I love to take questions. But you have to obviously go through that 48 hours, then come to here. And obviously, it will not make sense to you because I'm talking about moderates, extremists, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, knowing that you know Gopal Krishna Gokhale. So I'll just take 1 minute, everybody. Tell Ayman you have a question. I'll take it very happily, and then we will come back to discussing Gandhi. So you literally cannot understand something because obviously you will not literally understand anything. If I was you, I will also not understand anything. So thank you for your honesty. If Gandhiji was in the past, then why are we studying in the modern history? Fundamentals hila diya. The best question. Why, man? Great question. He's saying that if he's in the past, why are we discussing him right now? You're a very smart person. You are. He was studied, and why studying this in modern history? How do I answer this? Because the UPSC wants you to study him. The UPSC loves Gandhi. And though Gandhi is in the past, they want us to know what Gandhi did for this nation. Just to give you a spoiler alert, your constitution, your fundamental rights, your DPSP, not your UPSP, but your fundamental duties, whatever you are today, the freedom of saying what you are right now, the fact that you're alive and there's no Britisher who is saying that go away from here, or we are not paying tribute, or we are not under the Commonwealth, is because of this person. So the story of modern India is nothing but the story of how you are independent and free and liberty and whatever you have today in that regard. So I think, Ayman, इतना तो बनता है, little bit, it, I think, no, do not. It's a good question, Ayman. I'm not expecting a sorry from you. I'm not expecting a sorry from you. This is it's a first class. It's a very genuine question. कि हम क्यों मत्था मार रहे? Why are we discussing all of this? Because somehow this is what UPSC wants you to know, and your freedom and what you are today, everything which you are today is because of modern Indian history and because of the national movement, because of Gandhi, Nehru, Bose in that regard. Can we come back to where we are? Ayman, my basic suggestion, and the SME will be happy to tell you how, which is just go through the lectures which have happened. All are recorded, And though you will not be able to ask me these very genuine questions to a recorded lecture, but sure, you watch them. If there's any issue, you can email me. If not, you can always ask here questions, but you would have to go through 45 hours. So a little bit of commitment is needed there. Right? Perfect, Iman. Great. Very, very good comic relief you've given to us. Very good. Okay. And a good break. I'm talking about Gandhi, Gandhi Darshan. Why Gandhi? Good question. Okay. Can we come back? Everybody got a break? Can we discuss Gandhi again? I'll tell you that, Bhinraj, what to do with that question. If Gandhi would not have been there, what would have happened? There's a previous question which came. Okay. So we have now taken a truce. Now we can be back to struggle. As I said, see what I've established to you in the past, 30 minutes, not something very concrete, but something very important, which is Gandhi. I'm trying to tell you the value of Gandhi because unfortunately today Gandhi is considered to be a person who can be criticized very easily. So he's a racist, he's an anti-feminist, he's a this, he's a that. I'm just trying to tell you one thing, that when he landed in India, there was no one else other than Gandhi who had an understanding of how to make the British do something. So we'll discuss, if Gandhi not there, what would have happened. Good question. But first, let me finish the national movement for you. I'll discuss this question with you. You can't give him too much credit also, but then you're saying that Patel, Nehru, Bose were useless. You can't say that also. Uh, there's a very good middle path to that. I will tell you. The simple point what I've established is Gandhi changed his appearance, and that appearance, his bhajans, his kirtan, his ashram, his way of meeting people. The fact is, it was all strategic. I hope we all can agree here. He's a master strategist. And thereafter, now we can talk about Champaran, Kheda, and Ahmedabad in how he used that master strategy to work things out for India. Can we discuss that? Champaran, Kheda, Ahmedabad. Done? Okay, perfect. Now, let's talk about Gandhi's initial. So, Gandhi has finally set foot into India. And the first thing which he will do is he will create a religious community on traditional Hindu patterns where simplicity, truthfulness, celibacy, manual labor, hand spinning, use of indigenous products, all these things were talked about. But this is basically Gandhi's side business. For example, you have seen, then somebody does something very big, he has one business and one business behind it. So this is his front business. This is what he tells to the British. See, we are hand spinning. I'm only doing this. This is his outward projection. That I am just a Baba who's come from South Africa. I'm not here to do anything. Now, his stand on 9th January 1915 was, as Gopal Krishna Gokhale told him, he said that he was already known to the educated Indians, but also to the masses, decided to tour the country for next 1 year and see the people in their own context, decided to take not any position when it comes to political matters for at least 1 year. And he criticized everybody. He said, I don't want to say something, but I believe that the moderates are useless. Home Rule League is also useless. Extremists are also useless. So he's basically saying that I don't want to comment also, but I think that moderate politics is very limited. Home Rule League also is very limited. Extremists I don't believe in also. What made Gandhi come back to India is his duty. Now he's developed his idea that once he saw what happened in South Africa, the day Gandhi saw the real face of colonialism, he wanted to come back to his own country and now give independence to India. It is his conviction that he wants to now make India independent. Now, very simply, Gandhi's three interventions revolve around three parts of India in a very significant way. Two in his own home state, Gujarat, and one which is Champaran. And the Champaran one is the first one. Can I tell you the story of Champaran? Very interesting story again, very, very important that way. Okay, very good. Now, in Champaran, there is a system. It's called isn't it the same idea British used initially? In a way, yes, true. Good observation, Rutuja, which is to mask colonialism. So he's masking his political ideas. Very good, very good, very good, Rutuja. Great, 100 out of 100. Very good. Now, in Champaran, there's a system in which somehow till 1917, Teen Katia system is there. In Teen Katia system, on 3 kattha, so 1 bigha is 20 kattha. So on 3/20th of your land, 20 kattha is 1 bigha. 3 parts of that, no, 18 today, 20 at that point of time. Teen kathia system means on 3 kattha of your land, you grow indigo. And we've already established that indigo is basically something which destroys land. Though the synthetic dye is there in Germany, kattha is land. Land is divided in India into, you may be Americans, or you may have never been to rural India. That kattha, bigha, you would know acres, acre, hectare, right? Hectare, acre, Kanjana, hectare, acre. You understand measurement of land, but our farmers don't deal in acre and this hectare and all. They deal in bigha and kattha. You want to buy something, you want to buy 1 bigha would be 20 katthas of land. So square yards is basically kattha. But let's not go into it. The point is, 3 kathia, 3 katthas of 1 bigha have to have indigo. And I don't think I need to tell you that indigo is a problematic crop. I think we all can agree indigo is a problematic crop. Yes or no? And after synthetic dye, it is already, and we've already seen the indigo riots happening over it. It's a problematic crop. Okay, very good. Perfect. Now, the issue of Teen Kathia or Champaran had been brought up multiple times, in the Bihar Congress, meaning the small body of the Indian National Congress in Bihar. The planters were not ready to leave this sector. And the peasant was under distress. The system is the same, Rayati, which is that they have to pay rent. And paying rent is something very important. Now, there's a person called Raj Kumar Shukla, who's from the Bihar wing of the Indian National Congress. And he says to, or goes to Gandhi, who was sitting in Sabarmati, and he says to Gandhi that the Champaran issue is problematic. The planters are illegally making the peasants still take 3 acres of land or 3 katthas of land still to indigo. And very simply, we have more or less destroyed our land developing indigo. We don't want indigo to be there. Genuine issue. Now, Gandhi sees an opportunity. Gandhi could see that it's a straightforward injustice. He could see that there is opportunity in getting an outcome. Gandhi needed outcome. And he wanted to show Indians how his methods work. So Gandhi agreed. Okay, he said, okay, I will go with you. I am ready to intervene in Champaran. Now, the interesting thing about Champaran was that as soon as Gandhi chose to go for Champaran, now he reaches Champaran station. And when he reaches Champaran station, there's a proper reception which he gets, but he is also accompanied by very important leaders. For example, Muhammad Ali Jinnah came. Bal Gangadhar Tilak was there with Gandhi. Annie Besant was there with Gandhi. You have the early leaders. You have Surendranath Banerjee with Gandhi. There are multiple people who are coming from the INC, but also local leaders were standing with Gandhi. Now, as soon as Gandhi reaches Champaran, the district magistrate, your future, an IS officer, an ICS officer, Gokhale was dead by this point of time. The DM writes a memorandum and he says that Gandhi and his associates are not allowed to enter Champaran district. If violated, you will be arrested. So the magistrate, as soon as Gandhi reaches, has given a memorandum, an order that he cannot enter district Champaran. So everybody now started to pack the bags. Chalo, ghar chalo. Can't go. We can't go. District magistrate, he said, we can't come. Gandhi said, I don't care. And Gandhi will straight away go to the district magistrate's office in Champaran and he will say, arrest. I've entered Champaran. Arrest me. I am not here to do anything, but arrest me. So he stages arrest. Civil disobedience. Annie Besant and Bal Gangadhar Tilak were already halfway into the train and they get to know that Gandhi is arrested. Half of the leaders actually went back. This is where Gandhi is breaking the conception. He said, you will arrest me. Okay, arrest me. He was kept for 3 to 4 hours in the police station. But how do you prosecute on a person who just came to Champaran? So district magistrate is now cracking. This worked previously. तो पहले चल गया था. I said, don't come. Nobody came. But now Gandhi is sitting in the police station. And people don't know what to do. So the police say, what to do with this person? We have to leave him because we have no charges against him. He's not done anything. He's just come. He just came into Champaran. That cannot be a crime. And Gandhi is released within 6 hours. And here itself, Gandhi shattered the notion of colonialism. You can't ask me not to go anywhere. What is the... He said, at the end of the day, he was a lawyer. He said, tell me the charges you are applying against me. What is the charge? Under which section of the IPC you are pushing me into the jail? And now obviously he can't say that the Governor General of India and Viceroy has given preventive detention against you. Obviously that cannot happen. There was no section. It was just a random DM order. Now Gandhi goes to the Champaran peasants. And he asked the peasants, what have you been doing till this point? They say, we sent petitions. Gandhi said, not going to work. Then they said, we fought with these planters. He said, not the right way. Gandhi said to the Champaran planters, do one thing. Do non-cooperation, which is don't pay rent. Not one of you, not two of you. All of you don't pay rent. Don't pay rent. And if the Britisher come, tell them, arrest the whole village and put us in the jail. He said, why do you fear the jail? All of you get arrested and go to the jail. And now the peasant got astonished. Gandhi Baba is working. He said, do nothing. This is what Gandhi is saying, right? Passive resistance. Disobedience, not doing anything. This is magic. And this is what the Champaran farmers are going to do. They will not pay rent only. Now the planter, what he will do? He will go to district magistrate that these peasants are not paying us rent. And there was Gandhi sitting there saying, on what clause are you taking rent from these peasants? And what is going to happen is that there will be a small commission which will be established by the district magistrate to inquire into the issue of the Teen Kathia system. So the planters were represented by one person, district magistrate is there. Peasants, who will represent? Peasant said Gandhi. Now, the district magistrate obviously knew that the planter was wrong. So Gandhi says that illegal cesses have been taken under the Teen Kathia law and your Rayati contract. They've already paid everything. Why are you coercing the peasants to do something bad? So the DM says, galti to hui hai. There is some fault for sure. Now, illegal cesses could be close to 100%, meaning everything which the planters had taken, everything should have been given back. Yes or no? Everything which the planter had taken as illegal cess, it should have been given back. It should have been given back. But Gandhi says, no. We don't want all of the amount. People say, what is he saying? Tell him to ask for 100%. Gandhi says, no. Give us 25% compensation. Give us 25% compensation. See, the problem is, if you ask the planter for 500 crore rupees, will he be able to give it at one point of time? If you ask him to pay 1 crore rupees at one point of time, will he be able to? No. Gandhi knew this. Gandhi said, go and just give that 100 rupees back to that peasant. 25% compensation I want. Total amount is not more than 8,000 rupees. Now imagine, and the district magistrate will agree, okay, 25% compensation. Now imagine for an Indian peasant sitting there, a British planter, white person, coming there and handing him over 100 rupees. Imagine. The same person who beat you up every time you did not give money, the same person who was basically destroying your own system, looting India, he's paying you back. That one friend who only eats for free is giving the bill. Not possible. And this is where Gandhi became a superstar. He had made the British agree to something and also give money. Gandhi Baba ki jai. Because yes, Gandhi had done something which was not possible previously. Gandhi knew that Champaran would work because it was a micro issue. Make sense? Make sense. Champaran story. Now let's read it. Peasant discontent with European planters. Forceful production of indigo under Teen Kathia system. Significant role for the local middle and what we call as peasant leaders, that they were trying to bring this whole system up. Now, in 1915, the Bihar Provincial Conference said that this should be taken up in the INC. Rajkumar Shukla will take it to the INC also, but then go and approach Gandhi. And Gandhi will arrive in Champaran with Dr. Rajendra Prasad and other lawyers who are going to now become one of the most important associates of Gandhi. For example, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Fazlul Haq, Narendra Parikh, J.B. Kriplani, Mahadev Desai, Braj Kishore Prasad, you have A.N. Sinha, Ramnavami Prasad, and S.S. Verma. These people will become his subcontractors. Dr. Rajendra Prasad is going to be the first president of India. J.B. Kriplani, very important personality. Mazur Haq, very, very important personality. You have Narendra Parikh and Mahadev Desai. These will become what are called the subcontractors of Gandhi. Gandhi was a lawyer and he had an entourage of lawyers with him. Wherever he used to go with these people. And therefore, Gandhi had now become a leader amongst leaders. This is where Gandhi is Gandhi. Now, when the authorities ordered Gandhi to leave, Gandhi said, okay, I will not leave. You give me punishment. Gandhi was arrested and released by the magistrate. Gandhi convinced the riots to adopt non-violence and passive resistance. The peasants in the Dokhana plantation started no rent campaign. Villages of Belwa later started to also do the same thing, not cart anything to the planter. The peasants soon realized that passive resistance was more expedient and comparatively safer, because you're not doing anything. You obviously can't do anything to the peasant itself. Passive resistance of an unjust order was a novel method at this point of time. The government appointed a committee, Indigo Commission, to go into the matter, nominated Gandhi as a member. Gandhi was able to convince that the Teen Khatiya system should be abolished, peasants should be compensated. But only 25% of the money he had taken, and Gandhi had now done something which was not possible. If this is clear, we'll go to Kheda. Kheda is not an interesting story, it's a straightforward story. Gandhi has already established himself. Kheda, can we discuss Kheda? Prachi, the IPC, the rent is not been taken under IPC, it's taken under rent laws, the civil laws. Now, Kheda is a different case altogether. See, under British Revenue Code, if the yield of that year, yield means how much production has to happen, if that yield of that year falls below 1/4, for example, you used to produce 400 kgs and your production is less than 100 kgs, is then less than 1/4? Is this less than 1/4? Now, if at 400 kgs they had to give 100 rupees as rent or as revenue, the concept was that if it goes less than 1/4, then you don't have to pay any rent. This is called remission. This is called remission on taxes. Now, in 1918, in Kheda in Gujarat, crops will fail, wages will fall, and the plague will also hit. Plague is a small is a pandemic, or is basically a disease which spreads through mice. And the government refused to apply this law. They refused to provide any remission under the revenue code itself, which is if 1/4 of production below it, no rent. And the Bombay government was threatening the what we call as the peasants, that if you don't pay rent, we will confiscate your property. Now, two local leaders, Mohanlal Pandya and Shankar Lal Parikh, had already taken up this issue in 1917. And the Gujarat Sabha, the small body in Gujarat, will ask Gandhi, can you join this movement? And Gandhi will join this movement on March 22nd, 1918. And in this, he will very simply say that, okay, if they are not giving you remission, none of you pay tax. None of you pay tax. And here he will get two very important people, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and R.S. Vyas, two lawyers, were the ones who were spreading this movement at the grassroots level. The peasant refused to pay rent and they said, okay, confiscate land. Confiscate land. Gandhi said, let the government confiscate land. Let us see how much land they can confiscate. They can confiscate 100 acre, 200 acre. They can't take 100 villages, right? Try to understand what Gandhi is trying to do. He used to check the limit. Confiscate. You can't confiscate 100 villages, right? If 100 villages will not pay rent, then the British will, what they will do with 100 villages? And as soon as Gandhi will get involved, the British will say, we don't want any or confiscators to take. We don't want any trouble from you, Gandhi. They will stop the increased tax. They will say concessions will be given. They will give the peasants back their land. And Gandhi in June, sitting in Sabarmati, will call off the movement saying, we've achieved what we needed to achieve. So Kheda was about not paying rent. No rent campaign now applied twice. Non-cooperation now applied twice. And Gandhi had now shown to the people, see, Champaran, Kheda. Can we now go to Ahmedabad? Can we now go to Ahmedabad? Yes. Now at Ahmedabad, something very interesting happened. Ahmedabad is a city which competes with Surat when it comes to textile production. There are certain mills which are there in Surat, and there are certain mills which are there in Ahmedabad. But in order to attract workers from a city, for example, like Surat or any other industrial town, the mill owners, who were mostly Indian, who had benefited during the the Civil War of America, they were ready to give more money to the workers. For example, what they used to do was they used to give a plague bonus, and over and above that, they always used to give more salary. If 100 rupees was their salary, 50%, which is 50 rupees bonus, was given so that they could manage the plague and the issues with the plague, generally to attract people. Now, this was given as a plague bonus, and plague will stop by 1918-ish, 1718-ish. Plague will, we will develop a immunity in that regard. And now the Indian mill owners will say, okay, we used to give you plague bonus. We'll remove it. We'll remove this 50 rupees. But the workers said that no, because epidemic bonus has been removed and there is a lot of wartime inflation which has happened because this First World War is happening. They said, let this 50 rupees be there. So basically, Ahmedabad is a conflict between workers and mill owners about compensation. Mill owners said, okay, we are ready to give you 20% compensation for inflation. Inflation is general price rise. And the worker said, no, we still want 50%. We still want 50%, which is we want the same wage which you used to give us previously. Now, the problem is that the mill owners were not ready. Now, one of the mill owners is a person called Ambalal Sarabhai. He is the father of Rocket Man of India, Vikram Sarabhai. And Ambalal Sarabhai is one of the friend of Gandhi, merchant community friend. And Anasuya Sarabhai is the sister of Ambalal Sarabhai, and she wanted Gandhi to get involved. Now, Gandhi understood that the workers are also right and the mill owners also right. So Gandhi said to mill owners, 20% is too less. And he said to the workers, 50% is too much. He said, not yours, not mine, 35%. 35% is good enough. Not 20, not 50, 35. Middle path. But the mill owners were still not ready. The workers were striking. The mill owners were still not ready. And when the mill owners said that we will open the mills and whoever wants to come and work for 20% hike, you come. Now Gandhi will annoy the mill owners by sitting on and using his third method, which is fast. He will sit on a fast. He will say, I will fast on to that until and unless the mills don't give 35% to the workers. Now you tell me, would Ambalal Sarabhai or Indian mill owners want Gandhi dead over 15%? Obviously not. And Gandhi will hand twist the mill owners and get 35% hike from him. And now Gandhi, within 2 years, had become the Masiha and the hero of, it's basically civil disobedience, is the Masiha and the hero of workers and peasants who had never been touched by moderate politics or even political extremism. Within 2 years, Gandhi had achieved more than what between 1885 and 1915 we had achieved, which is make the British take back two laws, give the money back to the people, and also get justice for workers. And this is what Gandhi's real power was. That when he proposed 35%, he will go on to fast. This was not 1915, 1918. He will go on to fast unto death. Gandhi will persuade the mill owners, pressurize them, and agree at 35%, making it his third triumph in 2 years. In Champaran, he showed non-violence what it has the power to. It also showed how importance of cooperation is there. A need for cooperation is there for colonialism to work. Basically, non-cooperation. Kheda is again no rent campaign, non-cooperation. Ahmedabad is again a story of how fast works and the concept of self-suffering works. So the conclusion which we can come to vis-a-vis these 3 years or between 1915 and 1918 is that he used to say that he was Gopal Krishna Gokhale was his guru when it came to politics. Traveled extensively around between 1916 and 1917. He used religious idioms. Idioms mean muhavara, basically symbols, to mobilize the masses because he believed that not morality or not anything, not history, only religion can persuade people. He had no vested interest in the political status quo. I'll discuss one faction which I've not discussed till this point, which is Home Rule League. Prepared a welcome shift away from Western educated elites to the hand of the masses. He believed that the masses are the real key to nationalism in India. He knew that India was a plural society, which is that there is very divided. Something which can unite has to be either religion or the idea of India. He believed that Swaraj was a political goal and spiritually noble thing he was doing by getting self-rule for India. So again, that type of rhetoric he's doing. He combined the goals of the moderates with the means of the extremists. Wanted constitutional movement, but did not sit like the moderates. But he also did not assassinate anybody. He did resistance passively, which is in itself a very, very big thing. He is also going to be the first one who will bring Hindus and Muslims together after 1857. We'll discuss that tomorrow, which is called Khilafat and non-cooperation. Now, with this, we stop at Gandhi's story. But I have to cover one small section which I have not covered till this point, which is what was Tilak doing and Annie Besant doing in what is called as the Home Rule League movement. Before I do that, are we clear about this timeline now? I started with this timeline with you in the evening, and now I want to conclude with this vis-a-vis how Gandhi became from what he was, a British sympathizer, a person who believed in the British, to a person who wanted to destroy the British by 1915. And I hope now you realize why South Africa was important. If South Africa would not have never have happened, maybe Gandhi would have become a moderate. Maybe Gandhi would have become an extremist. But when he landed in India, he was a Swarajist. And that is what matters. A Swarajist, a Satyagrahi who could destroy the British power. And very strategically, he showed that his method works by taking Champaran, Kheda, and Ahmedabad. If this is clear, I would just like to dedicate 10 minutes to Home Rule League movement and then I'll leave you for today. Yes? Champaran, Kheda, Ahmedabad is the chronology. Okay. Now the Home Rule League movement coincides with the demise of the Gadar movement. And it is based on something called the Irish Home Rule League. So basically, if you know that Ireland is also one of the colonies of Britain, just next to it, a small island. Northern Ireland is a different country today, but half of the island is also with the British. And at this point of time, there's a movement called the Irish Home Rule League. Home rule means our own rule. So, Irish Home Rule League, there was one personality called Annie Besant. Now, she's an Irish person who is related to a society called the Theosophist Society. Theosophist Society is basically a small socialist reform movement type body. Today, till today, is in Madras, in Chennai, in that regard. And it is by a person called Blaklava who started it. And it's a theistic in between type of social reform movement based organization. It believes that everybody is brothers and this and that. But Annie Besant was one of the theosophists who is in India since 1896. She proposes to Bal Gangadhar Tilak that because Auchlot, yes, Auchlot and the other lady in that regard, if the Congress cannot agree on things, and if we cannot agree with regards to how the moderates and the extremists are going forward, the INC is useless. Let us start a home rule league movement which is beyond the INC. And it is here that Annie Besant is able to convince a lot of people in that regard, which is Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Annie Besant, Kapadre, Subramaniam Iyer, and this bastard was also involved to it. Somehow, wherever you see, you find Jinnah. He was basically tasting. It's like a buffet. He tasted the INC also. He was like, okay, let's be part of the Home Rule League movement also. Gandhi came, he went with Gandhi also. So basically, he said, okay, let's taste Home Rule League. Maybe I will become the Prime Minister in Home Rule League movement. I will tell you his basic wish was to become Prime Minister or to become something for sure. And he said, maybe I will become something in the Home Rule League movement. Bal Gangadhar Tilak was there. He said, I don't know who this guy is. Always is surrounding the INC, is also part of the Muslim League for some reason. So the fact was that the Home Rule League movement will start just after the First World War. By 1915-16, it will rise. And the concept was demand self-government or home rule. And they used to criticize the INC, saying that the INC is just one big holiday which happens every year in 3 days. So the point was, INC only used to meet for 3 days. They said we want to have a movement which is throughout the year, it is perennial. So the alliance of the All India Home Rule League movement became something as a model which was proposed by Annie Besant to Bal Gangadhar Tilak. And what will happen is that, as we know, in India, we are not very comfortable to be under a woman, unfortunately. And people said that, okay, all this Home Rule League and all is good, but we don't want to be under this white woman, Annie Besant. We don't trust her. We rather trust Bal Gangadhar Tilak. So now, the problem is people don't trust Annie Besant. That is why two Home Rule Leagues will be formed. One will be Tilak's Home Rule League, which will be formed in 1916, and it used to basically work from Belgaum, and Pune was the headquarters. And the area in which Tilak was going to actually operate was Maharashtra, Karnataka, Central Province, and Berar, which is basically peninsular India, but not in Bombay city. 6 branches will be formed, and Tilak will be very good in spreading the message of self-rule. On the other hand, Annie Besant will form her called as All India Home Rule League, and it will operate in Madras and rest of India, including Bombay city, where Tilak was not there. And it had 200 branches. The fact was that it was doing its job between 1915 and 16. But what unfortunate thing happens to the Home Rule League movement is, and the name of that person is Gandhi. As soon as Gandhi comes, now nobody cares about Annie Besant, and Tilak was also very inclined to work with Gandhi. And Gandhi himself said that this Home Rule League movement is all Irish based. It is not going to work out. I don't believe in them. So basically, what will happen? Basically, what will happen is, now I'm bringing the two stories together for you. Whilst Gandhi will rise between 1915 and 16, the more he will become popular, the more Home Rule League movement will become smaller. So while the Home Rule League movement will also operate in this period, Gandhi made sure that Home Rule League would not do anything because he undercut their agenda itself. So what have we done today? We have brought Gandhi back to India. We have established his method and we've seen his impact initially. We've talked about Home Rule League movement. Now, if all of this is clear, I stop here. And tomorrow, we start with Rowlatt Satyagrah and discuss Rowlatt, Jallianwala Bagh, non-cooperation, Chauri Chaura. Done? That is true, Yogi. That is the reason. What happened to Home Ruling movement will phase out. They will become part of Gandhi's movement in 1919. Rowlatt Satyagrah. We'll discuss tomorrow. Why was Gandhi against home rule? Because he knew that it could divide the people too much, or his own aura would get tarnished. Poll tax is £3 if you want to remain free. If you don't have a question, thank you. I will see you tomorrow, same time. Gandhi came into the picture. Annie Besant and Tilak wanted to work with Gandhi. Home Rule League movement will be actually used by Gandhi in the 1919 Rowlatt Satyagrah. I will tell you what is going to happen thereafter. Why isn't there a webinar today? What is today? Thursday. Good question. Surya. I don't know. What happened to Annie Besant's Home Rule League? Both fizzed out. I will discuss that tomorrow. Don't worry. Where are Subhash Chandra Bose and Bhagat Singh? आएंगे 1930, 1928. I'm still in 1919. They will come. They will come. Maybe Kartika last day. Maybe. Whole class on Gandhiji. Big topic. At least he deserves one class. Big topic, yes. If you understand Gandhi, then you understand his concept. Gandhi seems to be more extremist or moderate in India. Gandhi is he is a satyagrahi. He's not extremist or moderate either. I don't know why still people. Why I don't know why people still support Jinnah. Who's supporting Jinnah? Abhishek, who have you met? Who's supporting Jinnah? Was Camp Champaran Satyagraha first movement of Gandhi? Yes. Next last topic: Rowlatt, Jallianwala Bagh, non-cooperation, Chauri Chaura. Why did Annie Besant help India? Had nothing to do, wanted to be relevant, wanted power. Perfect, Seema. Thank you for that. Okay. So, I'll see you tomorrow. Nehru will come. Don't worry. All these people will come. Don't worry. At least now, Rockstar Gandhi is there. Our superstar has come. Now, these smaller actors will come. Don't worry. Okay. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.